Instead, he felt pressured by Jay and others to live up to the persona he had cultivated in his music. Yes, it was true that Prodigy's mother ran a ballet studio and that he used to take classes there. What was so embarrassing about that? He had a mother who raised him in the arts. He was cultured.
And Jay-Z was part of that community, the Dr. York community, you know what I mean? And he had learned all that information that York was putting out, for lack of a better term. He's chosen a side, you know what I mean? And the side that he chose is money, power, and, he doesn't really care to spread any type of information that might help save somebody's soul. You know what I'm saying?
All right, Prodigy. Now they have listed his official cause of death, and that cause of death is accidental choking. Apparently, he really did choke on an egg while he was in a hospital in Vegas.
And now, like, I talked to Noriega this morning, he was like, okay, I realized this. I realized that I really don't feel Prodigy died from choking on an egg.
50 Cent has finally broken his silence on one of hip-hop's most puzzling tragedies, the passing of legendary Mobb Deep rapper Prodigy. Contrary to the official explanation that Prodigy choked on an egg, 50 is now casting doubt on that account, labeling it suspicious. Word is spreading that 50 may even be working on a documentary that could completely change how we understand what happened. See, Prodigy wasn't just known for his music, he also stood out for being outspoken. Before his death, he published an open letter accusing Jay-Z of aligning with the Illuminati and selling his soul. He was also developing a musical that aimed to expose the far-reaching influence of elite powers within the hip-hop industry. Unfortunately, he died before that vision came to life. While Jay-Z often seemed to dismiss Prodigy and mocked his more artistic, intellectual side, 50 Cent consistently supported him. He encouraged Prodigy to move beyond gangster rap and use his music to convey deeper truths. So what exactly has 50 Cent said about Prodigy's unexpected death? Why is he questioning the official version now? And is he really about to unveil information that major industry figures, possibly including Jay-Z, would rather keep hidden? Let's examine the full picture.
Jay-Z ain't had to say when it was on, and he was getting dissed. Him and Nas. Mobb Deep and Biggie were the only ones from New York active in that situation. So Jay-Z is for making that quote in his lyrics. Yeah.
So recently, there's been buzz that 50 Cent is seriously looking into sharing the full, untold story behind Prodigy's death, one that reportedly goes far beyond what the public has been told. Sources close to the situation suggest that 50 has been quietly developing a project, likely a documentary, that will explore the circumstances surrounding Prodigy's passing in greater depth. And this doesn't appear to be a publicity gimmick. 50 and Prodigy shared a genuine respect. Their relationship strengthened after 50 brought Mobb Deep into the G-Unit family in 2005. As a sign of his belief in their talent, 50 gifted both members a Porsche when they joined the label.
He said, since we had knocked out so much music before even inking the deal, he wanted people to see us with the cars and know we were signing a G-Unit. I didn't know what to say. 50 was giving us 2 Porsches. I just said thanks. As soon as I got up off the phone with him, I raced back to the studio to tell Havoc what 50 told me not to tell him. Just like 50, I couldn't hold it in. Hav was hyped. The one-of-a-kind special order Porsches will be delivered in a week. Do you know how to drive stick shift? 50 asked. No, I said, but I would damn sure learn fast.
Prodigy often spoke highly of 50. In a 2012 interview with Vlad TV, he said 50 could do no wrong in his eyes.
50, that's my boy right there, man. He can't do no wrong in my eyes. Over G-Unit, 50, Banks, Yayo, all of them. Those are our brothers, you know what I mean? From Queens, like we all grew up in the same neighborhoods. We got friends in common. It's crazy how, we never really grew up together, but the people that he know is the same people that I know and I grew up with. So it was just like meant to be for us to do that deal with them when it happened, you know what I mean?
When 50 Cent was shot 9 times outside his grandmother's house in Queens back in May 2000, Prodigy was reportedly one of the few people 50 allowed to see him in the hospital. And later, when Prodigy was arrested in 2006, police allegedly tried to persuade him to betray 50, but Prodigy remained loyal until the very end.
See that you're not cracking them none of those questions. They say, yo, look, really, we just want to know about 50 Cent. You know, we know you down with G-Unit. We want something on 50. If you can help us get something with 50, we let you walk right now. So I'm like, what? So, you know, my mind, you know, I snap it to strategic thinking. You know what I'm saying? Now I'm thinking strategic. Now I want to hear more I want to hear how far these people are willing to take this. So now I start acting like I'm willing to help them, right? I start saying things like, I put my head down like this. Can I get a cigarette? You know what I'm saying? I start doing things like that, and they start thinking like, oh yeah, he's thinking about it. You know what I mean? So now I'm getting them to talk. Now they talking. Now they like, yo, listen, maybe, you know, does 50 use drugs? Does he buy drugs? Does he do anything illegal? Does he sell guns? So now I'm just like, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? So now they like, well, would you be willing maybe to, does he let you in his car? Does he let you in his house? Would you be willing maybe to drop some drugs in his car? Or maybe drop a gun in his car and then give us a call? I'm like, wow. I'm like, yo, these people was ill, right? So I'm like, I don't know. I'm sitting there acting like I'm thinking about it. I'm like, I don't know. Can I get another cigarette? You know what I'm saying? So I'm playing it like that, right? I'm being strategic, like, because I'm a smart nigga, you know what I'm saying? So they just yapping away. And I'm seeing they really want to set this dude up. They have no they can't, you know, they want to do it because 50 don't do nothing. He's strictly business. He don't f around, you know what I'm saying? And they mad at that. You know, they want to bring this man down because he's successful, has money, and they never can't get no case on him. You know, so at the end of the little 30, 40 minute interrogation, you know, I basically told them, yo, listen, man, you're gonna charge me, you're gonna hit me with time, I'll serve my time. I'm not snitch on nobody, I'm not set people up. You know what I mean? I do my time like a man, I'm not a rat. You know what I'm saying? Once they see that, they like, take his ass back to the cell. You know what I mean? Every hour, they would send a new group of detectives to question me. Like, they was probably in the back room like, well, let me try, I can get you crack. No, let me try. All right, you try once, let me try now. You know what I mean? So they all trying to take their little turns to see which one of them can get me to work with them. The last one was the ATF. You know what I mean? The ATF came, pulled me out my cell, brought me upstairs in the precinct to a conference room this time at a round table. All of them had their ATF jackets on with the yellow, you know, writing on the iron on ATF. The back, they had their badges around their neck. And I'm talking about senior officers, senior whatever you call them, agents, you know, with gray hair. You could tell they were high up, you know what I mean? And you could tell somebody called these dudes and they came from their houses to come down to do this. So you know, they tried, you know what I mean? They was asking me to do the same thing. Maybe put something in the car. Could you, you know, maybe get him, we could set up a buying bus where he buy some drugs off of you, maybe. I'm just like, wow, these dudes was going hard for this. Like, they really don't like this thing. So ultimately, you know, I ain't do nothing. Of course, I ain't work with them or whatever. I'm like, yo, fuck y'all, I do my time.
The bond between Prodigy and 50 Cent was genuine. When Prodigy passed away in 2017, 50 delivered an emotional speech at his funeral. He later posted, I never spoke at a wake or funeral before, but I felt I had to say something. Rest in peace. Prodigy, God bless. In his memoir, 50 also spoke highly of Prodigy's intellect, education, and the influence of his mother, who encouraged him to embrace the arts. However, things took a more serious tone when 50 claimed that Jay-Z lured Prodigy into making violent, street-focused music while simultaneously ridiculing his artistic roots.
I felt Prodigy should have embraced his background more. It's what made him special and would have allowed him to create more significant art. I felt like Prodigy's arts background made him more prepared as a performer than the rest of us. He was a force in the studio, always coming up with new hooks and concepts. I even remember going to his house one day and noticing several movie scripts laying around. Man, when did you learn how to write scripts? I asked him. Oh, I read some book that showed me how to do it, he answered casually. I've been writing them ever since. That's the kind of ability he possessed. He could pick up a book, digest it, and then start churning out scripts like it was nothing. Most rappers struggle to write 12 bars, let alone a movie. They just didn't have the same artistic tradition to draw from. Instead, he felt pressured by Jay and others to live up to the persona he had cultivated in his music. Yes, it was true that Prodigy's mother ran a ballet studio, and that he used to take classes there. What was so embarrassing about that? He had a mother who raised him in the arts. He was cultured.
Once you consider Prodigy's public criticism of Jay-Z, his open letter, and the Illuminati allegations, it becomes more understandable why Jay might have allegedly tried to discredit him. The friction between them actually dates back to 1998. That year, Jay released the track Money, Cash, HOs, which included the line, "It's like New York's been soft ever since Snoop came through and crushed the buildings." This referenced a scene from Snoop Dogg's New York video, where Snoop stomps on New York buildings during a period when Snoop was at odds with Mobb Deep. Despite being from Long Beach, Snoop and Jay-Z have always maintained a friendly relationship. So when Jay brought up that moment in his lyrics, many saw it as him siding with Snoop and indirectly dissing New York, including Mobb Deep. That didn't sit well with Prodigy or many others on the East Coast. It added more tension during an already heated East vs. West rivalry. Some may have seen Jay's line as just another lyric, but for Prodigy, it struck a nerve. To him, it wasn't only about the music, it was also about loyalty, regional pride, and standing up when it counted. From his viewpoint, Jay didn't show up for New York when it mattered most. While Mobb Deep and Biggie were confronting Suge Knight and Death Row Records, taking real risks to defend their city, Jay stayed out of the conflict. That made Prodigy feel like Jay was choosing neutrality instead of taking a stand.
Interview I did in The Source came out. I picked up a copy in the Chicago airport when we landed. The Source put me on the cover, my first magazine cover as a solo artist. In the interview, the writer, Shaheem Reed, asked about my problem with Jay-Z, referencing an online interview in which they asked if I like Jay-Z. "No, he's a boy. He talking and don't live it," I said. I elaborated for The Source. Jay-Z has a quote in his song, Money Cash Hoes, where he claims, "New York been soft ever since Snoop came through and crushed the buildings. I'm trying to restore the feelings." But Jay was nowhere to be found when that drama popped off between Mobb Deep, Dogg Pound, Tupac, and Biggie. That was our little personal beef, not a coastal war. Jay-Z ain't had shit to say when it was on, and he was getting dissed. Him and Nas. Mobb Deep and Biggie were the only ones from New York active in that situation. So Jay-Z is a for making that quote in his lyrics. Yeah, it was on now.
Initially, the conflict between Jay-Z and Prodigy remained behind closed doors. But that changed dramatically when Jay released Takeover, a track where he openly targeted Prodigy with sharp disses. The situation escalated at Summer Jam 2001, when Jay-Z attempted to publicly humiliate Prodigy by displaying a childhood photo of him dressed in dance attire during a class. Jay also performed in a cappella version of Takeover, which was still unreleased at the time. To top it off, he brought Michael Jackson on stage to share the spotlight, amplifying the moment even more.
Crazy. It's live. We the champions. You heard
Michael
it.
Jackson.
We live.
King of rap, the king of pop. Holla.
Turned out crazy. Big event, 20,000.
It's the Rock, you bastards.
As always, you heard? Holla. Beanie. We don't do much. Summer Jam 2001, man. How was it for you, man? We don't do much. We right here. Big celebration as always, man. We don't do much. That's it. It's a wrap. We out here. Jigga Man. Brooklyn. Oh, yeah. Zab. Okay. Right here.
All day. It's just the beginning. It's about to be crazy.
Jay then connected it all to his lyrics, rapping.
"I don't care if you Mobb Deep. I hold triggers the crew. You little fuck, I got money stacks bigger than you. When I was losing weight back in 88, you was a ballerina. I got the picture, I seen you. Switching the meter. Well, we don't believe you. You need more people. Rockefeller, students of the game, we pass the classes. Nobody can read you dudes like we do. Don't let them gas you like Jigga will ass and won't get at you. Trust me on this one, I'll detach you. Mind from spirit, body and soul. You have to hold a mask, put your body in the hole. No, you're not on my level. Get your break sweet. I sold what your whole album sold in my first week. Don't stop. You guys don't want it with hope. Ask Nas, he don't want it with hope. Yeah.
But Prodigy wasn't about to let Jay-Z disrespect him without responding. He was committed to standing his ground. According to some accounts, he was even carrying protection, prepared for any outcome. Allegedly, following the Summer Jam incident, Jay-Z began skipping major industry events like the MTV Awards, the Source Awards, and even bed appearances, possibly to avoid crossing paths with Prodigy. In a 2011 interview with Hip Hop, Prodigy revealed he was ready for a physical confrontation. He explained that right after Jay mocked him with those dance class images at Summer Jam, he made plans to confront him at Diddy's former restaurant, Justin's.
We're in Justin's hanging out. It's like me and about maybe 10, 15 of my boys from the project. We chilling. We just having a good time chilling in Justin's. And I see Queen Pen, rapper Queen Pen is in there, so we dancing. We having a good time. She's a friend of mine or whatever.
Eventually, Jay-Z exited the restaurant alongside Jermaine Dupri. But as soon as Jermaine noticed Prodigy and his crew outside, he quickly left the scene. Jay, however, stayed composed. Accompanied by two bodyguards, he approached Prodigy and extended a handshake in an attempt to defuse the situation. Prodigy said he paused to consider the gesture and ultimately chose not to escalate, opting instead to keep the focus on the music. Still, he admitted that mentally, he was evaluating the situation and recognized how easily it could have gone another direction.
I hear the DJ say, yo, shout out to Jay-Z and Jermaine Dupri in the house. You know what I mean? So I'm like, we've been in here for like 2 hours, man. You know what I'm saying? Justin's is real small. So it's like, where they at? I ain't see them. So now we all looking at me and my boys all looking at each other like, you heard that? So now we looking for him in the club. We like, where they at? So we can't find him. So I'm like, all right, cool. What we did was, we lined up, we surrounded the front. Because there's only one way in and one way out of Justice. We surrounded the front door. So he couldn't get out without seeing us. So I'm standing there, waiting to see him. And finally he comes from like back somewhere, I don't know where he was at. And him and Jermaine Dupri come walking. Jermaine see us and, you know, he was out, he just left. So then Jay standing there with two bodyguards approaching us. So from a distance, you know what I mean, probably from where that camera's at right there, he puts his hand out like this and comes walking up to me like this to shake my hand, right? So I'm looking at him like, this dude, like I could just really just treat him like a rag doll right now, like for real. So whatever, I shook his hand. What's up, man? He's like, yo, listen, there ain't no beef. You know, it's just music. Let's just keep it just music. You know, there's no problem, son. I just wish you would've came and told me that, you know, how you felt to my face instead of putting it in the magazine. I'm like, all right, that's cool, you know what I mean? There ain't no beef. We can keep it just music. That's what's up, you know what I mean? And I thought about it real quick, because I'm thinking about like, how I could just really overpower him right now. You know what I mean? With the security and all that. You know what I mean? And
because somebody was talking about shooting him.
Yeah, I mean, to tell the truth, my man had a gun on him in the club. You know what I mean? And I told him not to. Don't
he said we're just gonna beat him up.
Yeah, exactly.
But the tension between Prodigy and Jay-Z didn't end there. Things intensified when Prodigy began speaking publicly about the Illuminati and claimed that Jay was aware of powerful hidden forces shaping the music industry. In 2007, while serving time for illegal firearm possession, Prodigy wrote an open letter to Jay-Z, making bold accusations and suggesting that Jay might be linked to a secret society. In that letter, Prodigy described having a moment of realization back in 1996, where he started to see a much deeper system at play not just in music, but across society as a whole. He argued that what people accept as truth, whether in government, religion, finance, or politics, is largely a deception. Prodigy wrote, "The government, religions, politics, the Federal Reserve, IRS, and everything we believe and live by is a joke." He then directed his attention to Jay-Z, stating that Jay knew the truth but chose not to speak up. According to Prodigy, Jay aligned himself with the opposing side to gain favor in the corporate world. He wrote, "Jay-Z knows the truth, but he chose sides with evil in order to be accepted in the corporate. Jay-Z hides the truth from the black community and the world and instead promotes the lifestyle of the beast." Prodigy concluded by vowing to continue exposing Jay-Z, the Illuminati, and what he saw as global corruption until the day he could no longer speak. He said, "I fear nothing and no one. I'm fearless because the truth has freed me from the Illuminati's mental control, and I've been empowered by God and the universe. Many people believe Prodigy was the one who truly introduced Illuminati discussions into hip-hop culture. In fact, he had been referencing the Illuminati for years, going back as far as the early 90s. For example, in 1995, on the remix of I Shot Ya with LL Cool J, he rapped, "Illuminati want my mind, soul, and my body. Secret society trying to keep their eye on me, but I'ma stay incog strategically." Later, in 2008, Prodigy released a track simply titled Illuminati, where he said, "This is not a theory. The conspiracy is real. They want to put me in a straitjacket in a padded room and tell the world there's 12 monkeys so they can be confused." But his commentary on the Illuminati didn't stop there. Prodigy continued exploring these ideas all the way up to his final album, Hegelian Dialectic, the Book of Revelation, which dropped on January 20th, 2017, exactly 5 months before his passing. At the time of his death, he was reportedly also developing a full musical centered around his Illuminati theories. That project had the potential to be significant, but unfortunately, Prodigy never had the chance to complete it before his death on June 20th, 2017. Prodigy had battled sickle cell disease for much of his life, so when he died, most assumed it was due to complications from that illness. However, the coroner's report later clarified that sickle cell wasn't the cause of death. Instead, it stated that he had accidentally choked on a boiled egg while in the hospital. The detail about Prodigy choking on an egg was strange in itself, but things got even more complicated when his family filed a lawsuit against Spring Valley Medical Center in Las Vegas. The suit revealed that the hospital had failed to maintain a functioning line and neglected to monitor his oxygen levels. Despite explicit orders from doctors, for many of Prodigy's fans, the official explanation never felt right. They continued to believe he was silenced for getting too close to revealing uncomfortable truths. And it wasn't just fans. Kanye West also brought up Prodigy's death during an interview with Candace Owens. That interview, however, was quickly removed by YouTube, and Candace was suspended from the platform for a week. But it goes even further. Candace later revisited what Kanye said during her show and referenced an old interview where Prodigy spoke about some troubling rituals that were allegedly taking place among the elite. If you look at Prodigy's older tweets, he regularly shared links and resources for others to explore. For instance, in 2014, he tweeted an article about the unwarning the UK over alleged voodoo practices and reports of pedophile tourism. In his caption, Prodigy wrote, "I told y'all infers they do X rituals on kids. Dumb people need to wait the F up." He also spoke frequently about the Illuminati online, making statements like, "Illuminati is per school information to me. That's like learning your ABCs." Now, with all these conversations resurfacing about Prodigy's intentions to uncover the darker side of the music industry and the secret forces behind it, the public is starting to pay closer attention. There's also speculation that 50 Cent may be developing a documentary focused on Prodigy's life and legacy, which has sparked further interest in his past statements and beliefs. So now, we want to hear from you. Do you think Prodigy was uncovering something deeper? And do you believe his passing is somehow linked to his claims about the Illuminati or his comments regarding Jay-Z? Some people are even questioning whether there's a symbolic meaning behind the official cause of death, that he choked on an egg. Let us know your thoughts in the comments, and don't miss what's coming next.